So I'm just kind of messing around. I've got Isu's Trifecta here. Let me bring this over here. I don't know how everything's gonna sound. I'm just trying this setup out. Why not, right? But this module is pretty dope. So if you can hear me, I'm gonna try to set the chat up on my phone if I'm lucky. Um, and at that point, hopefully, I should be able to monitor the comments and whatnot. Let's see here. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but we're gonna find out. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Well, it doesn't look like that's working just yet. Let me see for 1 second. All right. I guess it doesn't want to work that way. All right. Well, I'm just gonna start messing around, and then maybe things will become a little bit. Oh, of course that went down. Make sure it's getting clock. All right, I can see the YouTube chat now at least, so I'll use that. So anyway, what we're hearing right now is actually, let me change it up. So what we're hearing right now is the ER301, which just has a drum break running in it that I've sliced up, and I'm sequencing it with the Fluxus One right next to it. Okay, so the drum break is dry right now. It has a little bit of like you hear a little bit of reverb, but that's in the sample. Um, so if I do this, we're completely dry right now with nothing on Isu's Trifecta. Um, but I'm going to start adding some things in here, and I'll explain what's happening. So essentially, this is 3 effects in a chain. And what you can do is you can organize the chain however you want. You can send modulations wherever you want, that sort of thing. But the effects themselves are really, really nice. And then you have 4 knobs to control your effect. And then if you hit Alt, then you get another 4 knobs to control them. On the second page, when you go into the Alt page here, the 4th knob will always be your dry wet for each individual effect, which is super useful. You can also stop this for a second. So what you can also do here is if I go into the settings here, you have control over dry wet in kind of like a quick and easy to get to area. So uh, dry wet, and then here I have my output gain, right? Um, if you press left and right, you can get some more global settings. This is the duck menu, and what the duck is you actually have an input here for duck in, so it sidechains it kind of like a compressor, but you're just ducking the signal really quick, right? So it's what's cool about that is you can set up an envelope on it, right? And it basically functions as an envelope follower, and you've got your duck decay time, so it has its own envelope. So even if you're just sending it just a clock pulse or a trigger or something, you can get a nice ducking effect without having to, go through anything like having to reroute your kick drum or anything like that. You could just send it a clock pulse and you'll be good to go. You also have modulation configuration, and what this lets you do is all of these individual modulation inputs on here, you can assign them wherever you want, and they have kind of like presets that you can go by as well, which is useful. So here's the mod presets area, and you can kind of just select right through here, clear, FX1, 2, mains, right? So you can select all of these, and you're good to go. And here you can get them all, it's pretty cool actually. So now if I go here, you'll see mod meters. Now mod meters is this is actually really new in the firmware. Again, this is not out yet, but it's in beta, and I've been given the go-ahead that I'm allowed to show it, so I'm going to show it. Let's send it a random real quick here, and you'll see. So input 1, I'm sending it a random signal right now. You're seeing it go up and down all over the place, right? And if I go to, like, say, CV7, you're going to see that same thing. Boom, right there. There's that random value, and of course I can send it something a little bit, send it a sine wave. Alright, so that's just a self-oscillating filter going into it. But you get the idea. So you can see your modulations right on here. So if you're curious as to what's going where and all that good stuff, and you've got a whole bunch of stuff plugged in and you don't want to unplug anything, that's a great way to see not only what you're getting but where it's going. So yeah, this is Isu's Trifecta. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start... I'll start with playing some sounds. Again, I'm playing a mono drum break through this first, and you're going to hear me start stepping through different effects and how it manipulates it. So right now it's dry. I'm going to add in the compressor. We can add some bit crushing. So that's just shift and edit to mute and unmute an individual effect. That's super useful, by the way. And then let's get the Isu's rhythm. And now maybe I want to play with the compressor a little bit. I can hit edit. So I just highlight it using the arrow keys and then hit edit, right? And I can adjust the threshold. Maybe if I wanted to just kind of kiss it, or if I want to really slam it, I can bring it up here. And if you hit edit, you're going to see your knobs. So it says ratio here, and then attack, and then release. And then if I hit alt, I'm going to see the second page, and that's my makeup gain. So maybe I want to kick this up a bit. Alright. And let's go back. So here we are with attack. Right? So attack is on knob 3, and I can make it a little bit quicker attack. Play with the release. So now we got a nice pumping action going on. And I can play with that makeup gain a little bit. And let's actually increase the ratio a bit. So now we got that big pump sound going on. And I can go back to the rhythm. Let's look at the rhythm. So you'll notice I have a clock input going in on the module here. And what I can do with that is when I adjust the time, it actually stays in time with the beat. Let's play with the feedback. Wow and flutter. And then you got a cutoff. That's funky right there. Now, if I want to change this up, right? So I'll play with the bit crush a little bit so you can kind of get an idea. Alright, so drop the bit. Tone. And again, if I want to mute that, now I've taken that effect out of it. So I can actually go like really crazy with it, like have it, and then I can drop it out. Now, while it's muted like that, I can actually flip through the different effects and find a different effect that I want, right? So say I want this ping pong, now I'm going to bring it in. I can even set all the parameters up ahead of time. So we'll do this, and then I can drop it in. Alright. I thought I was on the closer camera. I wasn't. So, sorry about that. But, yeah. So, maybe this way you'll be able to see it a little bit better here. Alright, let's take a look at some of the other stuff that we can do here, right? So, that's with just some basic drum stuff, and really not even going too crazy deep. Like, I'm not even really touching the modulation or anything just yet. What gets really interesting is when you start doing that sort of thing and kind of playing off of it. But, I want to show you the fact that, so, not only is there, like, delay, reverb, you know, bit crushing, compressor, you know, lots of different effects in here, but there's multiple versions of that type of effect, which is really cool. So what I'll do now is I'm going to mute, I'll keep the compressor on, but I'm going to mute the other effect, and I'll just go through the different tape effects and delays and all that good stuff. So a bit low in the stream. Okay, so yeah, let me turn that up. Am I low or is the music low? If the music's low, then I can bring it up a bit. So that's not a problem. We'll see what happens here. So let's just double check. Let me see where we're at. Alright, maybe that'll help. So, we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah. Alright, so let's just go through some of these delays. So, yeah, let's start here. So, rhythm is like a dub delay. So I can go into the edit and you're going to see time, feedback, wow and flutter, cutoff, right? Then on the alternate, there we go. That should be better. Yeah, so let's just go through it, because now I'm getting all confused, because I'm looking at the levels. So, yeah. Now we're on Isu's tape. What's cool about this one is you can do degradation on it. And age. Shimmer. Now this is a reverb here, obviously. You can Verb, which is another reverb that they have in here. So that's just it. When you're asking what 3 effects make up the trifecta, really it's whichever ones you choose, and there's a ton of them in there, right? So I can go to a flanger, a pitch shifter. Pitch shifter is actually pretty cool. Classic right there. And then we can do dry wet mix on it. And when you start modulating this stuff, it's crazy, right? So if I go into the settings here, and actually, yeah, so that's on 1 anyway. So we can do a bunch of cool stuff with this, right? So M1 is pitch. We can kind of something funky real quick. What's awesome is that you can chain these things up in really crazy ways too. So like for instance, if I take this out for a second. So now I'm just doing a reverse delay, right? And go back here. Now, so I have a reverse delay here. Let's say here I want to do, where's she at? Do a chorus here. And then here, let's bring it back. And then I can easily go into the alt and adjust it for dry wet. This is always fun too. So you can do auto panning, auto sweeping, and tremolo, and you know, do it all in the same patch, and it's kind of crazy. So you get this stuff here. Actually, we'll do a ping pong at the end. Why not, right? And then I'll bring this up. So we're doing a sweep now, and we'll bring the rest of this up so you can really hear it. You can adjust the timing of it in time with your beat. Right, so now let's say I want to make it a little subtle, right? And then I'm going to use the dry wet to kind of, So a lot of times I'll do this sort of thing, but I'll do it with my analog filters. And like you end up burning like a whole bunch of modules. So you end up burning like, you know, a VCA, you end up burning, you know, a filter, an LFO, and possibly even envelope follower when you're doing it this way. Like I'll end up using the majority of my mats doing this kind of stuff. But here you can just do it right in one module, one effect. So it should be in stereo for you. If you're hearing it, I can't monitor it, but this should be stereo. So then I can also change another compressor. So let's mute these out. Right? Alright, so now stereo here. Sorry, I'm reading, but the delay designer here. All right, so real quick about this delay designer. This thing is a little bit. There's a lot to the delay designer in it of itself. Like if this module was just the delay designer or Professor X, like that would kind of be enough. It gets really deep in how the tape works here, because you have individual timing for the tape heads, right? And if I go to Alt, here's your feedback and your dry wet. So again, going back here, this is time 1, time 2, time 3, time 4, and then you do feedback and dry wet on the other page, right? So if I take these, like, I'm going to take them all short real quick and just show you something. So as I increase each one of these, you're going to see, and these are all staggered, they're like different tape heads, right? So guys an example here. So I'm going to go into, let me change my camera real quick. Alright, so I'm actually going to go into the sample player that I have, that I've built in ER301 here. And this is actually, this sample player is up for free on my website. So if you go to shop.fluxwithit.com, it's up there for free. And it's called the FluxFi sidechain sampler. So what you can do with this is you can actually sidechain the output of whatever it's playing back into it to sidechain the sample rate playback and the bit depth, right? So you can actually, like when the kick hits, it'll crunch it all down, and it just does a lot of fun stuff like that. But I've kept it dry so that it's not really affecting the way that you're hearing the sound through ESU's Trifecta. But I just want to change up my drum break that we're playing here. We'll do something else. Let's actually go. I'm going to go to the raw drum loops here of these. Actually, you know what? Kenny Dope sent me some pretty cool ones that we'll check out. Alright, so this is classic kind of drum break. Alright, let's go back into here. And we're going to slice it. And that looks good. Alright, so now alright, so now this is the new drum break we're going to mess with, just so that we can kind of mess around here. And I'll throw some random triggers in here too, just to make it interesting. Just basic drum break, right? And we'll start bringing this stuff in. Now again, you just press the edit button, you go into the screen, you can see what you're doing, right? So, and then I'm going to press Alt again to get back to my first screen. So we got this cool, fun little delay going on. And now I can start adding some other stuff in here. So let's add, let me do the ladder just to mess with it for a second here, right? Compensation on there, that's cool, right? And it looks like we can change the mode up too. Check it out. We're going to go bandpass. Let's go back here. So Professor X, right? I'm going to mute these other two real quick. Professor X is another really deep one. Alright, so if we go here, we can go into the head configuration, right? And I want you guys to kind of see this. Let me make sure I'm on the right camera. I think I am. Yeah? No? Alright. Let's see. Where am I at? Yeah, okay. I think we're good now, right? Possibly. Yeah. So check this out, right? The if you are in Professor X, right? You've got time on your first knob, head configuration, then head volume, then feedback. Then you've got wow and flutter, your low cut, your post gain, and your dry wet, right? So this is in itself like a really, really cool kind of like tape delay sort of thing you got going on, right? So we're gonna go here. Let's take this to, we'll do dotted quarter notes for now, and then head configuration we're gonna play with, right? So let me go ahead and turn it on. Oop. Alright, so now we're hearing it. And if I go here, dry wet, it's dry. Right? So now, let's take a listen to what we can do with this, right? So if I have feedback here. Alright, so I'm on Delay Designer now. Let me take this back down and go back to It's always fun that you can kind of just bounce through them like that. So back here. So in this area right here, you're going to see the different head configurations, and they let you do things like musical staggering of your delays, right? So then I can kind of change the head volume, right? So like as the echoes happen, certain echoes get louder in different orders, you know? So when I turn it, so I'm gonna do this like, let's slow this down. Okay. Alright. So I got a little bit slower break going right now, and I'm just gonna do this. That's trailing right there, right? You could bring it up like swing, which is actually really really do, because if you push the feedback on this, ring mod is cool. Tremolo. It's nice that they give you all these different waveforms for it too, you know? Again, yeah, so if I want to take this and say I want to have this one here, and which is the reverb, right? Right now I have the bit crush is actually after the reverb, right? And I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit, I believe it's shift down, and now I have swapped them. See? Position of the effector right. Right, so now I have Shimmer Storm here, and I have the crush at the top. Of course, if I want to change that up, that's way too much. Yeah, I noticed that too, Chris. I was gonna save that till after the stream. Yeah, I think that's a small thing. I think it's I think the slot is staying persistent but not following the effect when you do that. But yeah, it's good to see that you're gonna change that behavior as well. So that was what I was doing is, for instance, if Storm is here and Professor X is here, if I hit Shift and up right now, you'll see that Storm is now the one that's muted. So the mute state is staying in the position, but yeah, so it sounds like Chris wants to have it follow the effect that you're moving around as opposed to that individual slot. I feel like there's good reason for both ways. So yeah, that's cool though. I love how responsive you guys have been during testing as well. So, but yeah, this stuff is. I mean, this thing is fantastic. How deep the effects are in it. Because a lot of times, if you have a multi-effect module, the individual effects are not super well, like, you know, some of them are better than others, I'll just say, right? But it seems like these ones, especially the things like the Professor X and Delay Designer, they just go really deep, and you can do some really cool stuff with them. I'll show you something different. So what we'll do now is this is going to go here, and this is going to go here. All right, if I can unwrap my wires. This one's going to reach. Tell me it's going to reach. All right, so now we got synthesizer stuff going through it. This is Hydrasynth is going through it. So if I go to here, you'll see Hydrasynth is over here, and I have it being sequenced by the Oxy 1, right? So I can actually, okay, so I got that going there, and I can, there's those drums that we were doing earlier. Now I just have them going through Modbat Meridian that's up here now, so that's... So the drums are not going through here now. They're going through Modbat Meridian. And what I'm going to do is I have the Hydrasynth go through here. And let's say I want to give this a bit more. All right, so let's mute this. Let's see if we can't. Funky tempo stuff happening. Matter of fact, we're gonna do this a different way. I'm gonna do blast, Chris. I love that the EQ on this, the 4-band EQ, is like actually usable. The ranges that it's in, it's just super easy to use and just sounds great. Like it's just musical. The bands that it's in. Let's give it this. Just listen to that rhythm. What's up, David? Just to remind you what it sounded like dry. So this is dry, and ECU's Trifecta does this to it. The beauty of a nice effects package. I think you guys get an idea. I just wanted to stream to test out this setup to see if it would work. But I mean, this module's dope, so definitely check it out. I'm not sure when the release is gonna happen, but by my judging, the firmware is getting really close, and it's pretty dope. And my dogs are like, "Hey, I want to go outside and do stuff," and that's cool. So yeah, if you got any questions, hit me up.